I'm gonna. All right.
Welcome, guys.
So glad to have you here. And we are really excited to talk about intermittent fasting today. If you are not familiar with it, intermittent fasting is a really great way to increase your metabolic health. And so we're going to go through how to effectively do some fasting and how to do some additions to your fasting that might make your fasting even more effective. So I am Dr. Joel Dayton, and this is my lovely wife,
Yes.
Crystal Nix. And we are both chiropractors in Orlando. We've been practicing for just under 9 years.
Hmm.
It'll be 9 years in May. So, but we love being able to educate and being able to really meet together with all of you and talk about your health journeys and encourage you on your health journey. So, speaking of which, we are going to talk a little bit about where we are on this health journey. As many of you know, at the beginning of the year, we started talking about this. It's a health pyramid. It's helping us to get even more, um, I would say, effective at maintaining a very healthy lifestyle. And the base of that is our nutrition and digestion. And so that's what we've been talking about through all of January and into February. And now we're at the end of February. So we're going to be transitioning. We're going to be talking about that nutrition aspect with our fasting, but also starting to transition into our metabolism and how to get that active. So this is kind of where we're at. Now, for the next 2 months, we're going to be talking about and working on our movement and getting our metabolic health really, really optimal. So, first things first, I wanted to congratulate
Yeah.
all of you who were in our cleanse crew. Maribel, Pearlie, you guys had a lot of fun. In fact, if you look, these are if nothing else, we're going to do this annually, where we do this cleanse at the beginning of the year. If nothing else, you get awesome recipes,
Yes.
and these are just like a handful, a smattering of the recipes that you got if you're in our group.
Mhm.
This was really, really fun. I think that's Maribel. She had like lots of different options of fish
Mhm.
that she was giving us. So there's one of hers in the bottom left corner. We had
Mhm.
banana pancakes, but they weren't made. They didn't have any wheat in them. They were just strictly bananas, which are really fun.
Mhm.
That's
So we're not seeing the slides. We're just seeing the
You know,
first.
oh no.
it says your screen sharing is paused.
Oh,
Thank you for joining
hey.
us, Mark.
Can
Okay,
you see it
let's
now?
see.
You can
Yes, we
see it
can.
now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay.
Okay.
Well then let me hang on.
No, if I can help.
Siri wants to help.
Okay, it looks like we need to stay
Okay,
in
I'm
this
just gonna stay in
view.
this view. All right. I don't know what's going on today, but that's we're gonna be in this view. All right. So,
Let me
um,
move that.
yeah, let me move this. Okay. So,
We can maybe zoom a little bit more. Would that be helpful for you guys?
I think can everyone see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, okay, cool. Sorry. So it was like we were on radio and I just had to describe really, really
In
intricately,
detail.
oh yeah, fine detail. This is what I'm seeing. But yeah, we had a lot of fun different recipes that were fantastic this year, which yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then um as we talked about on a couple calls ago, we talked about how to actually reboot not only your liver, but also your gut and the different supplements that you can use to actually help bind, to release those toxins, bind those toxins, and then expel them. And then to also repopulate the proper bacteria that you'd want in your gut. So it was really fun. I am going to ask Crystal to share a little bit about what she had, results she had. And then Maribel, Pearlie, if you want, you can hop in and share anything that you found. Pearlie, I know you had a really great experience, but Maribel, we'd love to hear you too. So Crystal, you want to tell us a little bit?
Yeah, so partly for me, I really appreciated seeing that I tend to have had skin issues over the years, and so I was able to see, okay, my skin actually was able to detox some, specifically around my lymph nodes. So I was really thankful that I was able to move through that because I feel like I've dealt with congestion and things like that as well over the years. So I was impressed because I was thinking, I'm really going to focus more on my liver and gallbladder, but I mean, our skin is our biggest detoxifying organ. And so I was really happy to see that. And then just feeling lighter in general, like I've dealt with, especially since being pregnant and then postpartum, I had just gotten more bloating issues over, I mean, it just seemed like regularly I was dealing with that. And that was gone while we were doing the cleanse. So I was really thankful to see that improve.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Pearlie or Maribel, do you want to share anything? I can unmute you too, or you can unmute yourselves, either way.
Okay, so I experienced, I had some really dark spots on my arms, and I didn't know if it was because I'm out in the sun a lot, but I noticed that they have gotten a lot lighter. So I was really impressed by that. And also, I didn't have cravings for sweets, which is like, that's like a big thing for me because I'm a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, I mean, I was in Valentine's parties and events at work and all that where they have these all these delicious desserts. And I just looked at them and go, yeah, I wasn't tempted.
That's
Wow.
awesome. That's
It
great.
was good. Yeah, so I really like that.
That's
And
great.
it felt good. Yeah. Very
Good.
positive,
Wow.
very positive. Yes.
Thanks,
Very good.
Maribel.
Yeah.
Pearlie, do you want to share anything?
I can unmute you.
Sure, yes. I always had stomach issues since I was growing up in the Philippines, and yeah, bloating including, and just a lot of discomfort. And I did not have that all throughout the cleansing and detox. I was so pleased and I felt so light. And like Maribel, yes, I was at some couple of parties and I didn't even crave for any of the sweets that I used to love, and even rice. I didn't even need rice. I ate my quinoa. That's like my rice. And it was very filling, the quinoa was. But yeah, I didn't crave for rice. And even now, still haven't eaten rice. It's two
Wow.
days now.
And that's a
Yes,
lot. That's saying a lot for an Asian.
Yes.
I know.
Asian gluttons. Yes.
Awesome.
That's right.
Great, Pearlie. I'm so happy for you. That's great. Well, it's so
Yeah, thanks.
awesome. Well, I wanted to encourage you that these habits that we've built the last little bit. Do not don't throw them out, but keep on those habits. These are great new habits that you can implement, and these are just a couple of things. So these aren't all the supplements for the cleanse. These are just more foundational things that you can use every day. These are things that we use every day. The VMG, the E Omega, and the PB Restore have been super helpful in allowing us to have really good sustained foundational health. So that's something that I would encourage you to do. Um, and just keep eating the way that we're eating now or that you've eaten the last month, because that will keep you on that great trajectory
Yes,
where you're
we
going to
really are a culmination of our habits, and therefore to maintain staying away from the sugar so that, hey, you can enjoy being able to go to parties and say, I'm okay. Like that's an amazing accomplishment, and to have earned that already, it is it can be harder to get back to that rather than just continuing to maintain it. So, yeah, keep up the good work, guys.
great job, guys. So let's get into intermittent fasting now. So what is intermittent fasting? This is something that's gotten a lot of airtime in the last couple of years, but there's a lot of buzz, and sometimes it can be confusing because you'll see things on YouTube or otherwise. Maribel, did you have a question?
Yeah, I can't see your thing. It's like half of it is showing on the screen.
Okay, thank you for letting us know.
Is anyone
We'll
else
see if
having
we can
that
zoom.
issue?
Maybe we stop share and then start it back up
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, let's try that. I don't know what's going on.
because usually we can have it be
Okay,
that
let's share.
full mode, so the green one. But thank you for letting us know. Okay,
There
what
we go.
yeah,
That's better.
the whole
Yeah.
thing? Okay, great.
Yep, that's good.
I'm gonna see if we can go full screen here. Maybe it'll let us.
How's that?
Can everyone see that? No, it says sharing paused. Okay, well, we're just gonna have to be like this. Can everyone see that?
I can see full screen.
Uh-oh. There we go. Maybe
Okay.
I hope that doesn't cut anything off. Okay. So, okay, cool. All right. So, what is fasting? Fasting, intermittent fasting, is eating at just certain times of the day. That's very, very simple. So the idea is we're going to take just a certain small time frame in the day. And what we want to do is we want to try and get the blood glucose. We want to get sugar out of the bloodstream. And we want to get it cleared. And we want to have a level maintained, but we also don't want to have spikes and dips. And so what intermittent fasting lets us do is it allows us to use our insulin in the most effective way. And so I'm going to go through a little bit of talking about how we can maximize that insulin. Okay. So when we do intermittent fasting, like I said, we're going to maximize the use of insulin. We're going to minimize the chance of us developing insulin resistance. I want to talk about what that means. So when your body, when we digest sugars, what happens is that sugar is going to go to a cell, right? After it goes over your intestinal wall, it's going to go to a cell, but it can't go to a cell without insulin. Insulin's going to take it to the cell. And what happens is insulin is kind of like the escort. It's going to try and get the sugar into the cell. So it's going to knock on the cell and say, "Hey, I've got sugar for you. Do you need sugar?" And usually the cell is going to say, "Yeah, I can use that for energy. Thank you." What ends up happening is when we have sustained high levels of sugar, what the insulin is going to continue to take the sugar to the cell, and the cell is going to say, "Hey, I've already got so much storage already here. I am going to resist, or I'm going to say, hey, no, I'm good. I don't need any more sugar." And that is what we call insulin resistance, where it basically says, hey, no more insulin, thank you. Or, excuse me, no more sugar from the insulin. So what ends up happening then is you get elevated, even more elevated glucose levels, and you end up developing fatty liver. You end up developing HbA1c elevated, which is basically your blood glucose is going to be high all the time. And as a result, you're going to end up with diabetes type 2. So we've seen that in the rise on the rise in throughout the United States and also the world, unfortunately. And so fasting is one way that we can help decrease the amount of insulin resistance that happens within our body. Also, when we fast, we're actually going to increase the use of ketones. So ketones are instead of using sugar as your main source of energy, it's breaking down of fats, and then that fat is used as your energy source. And what happens is when you use ketones, you actually have, instead of having peaks and valleys, you're going to have more sustained energy throughout your day. So that there are some really, really incredible benefits of fasting. And a lot of these have been really well documented, well researched. But it just is a matter of us actually doing it, actually, yeah, having the willpower to actually follow through with it. Now, there are different types of fasting. Here are just a couple of them. Time restricted eating. So this is, you can go circadian rhythm, which is 12-12 fasting, meaning you eat for 12 hours, rest for 12 hours, right? Or don't eat for 12 hours, right? So that would be, again, this is a pretty typical eating style if you're going from like 8 to 8, right? 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Or 7 to 7. That would be considered a circadian rhythm eating style or fasting style. But you can also do a 14-10 or 16-8. Now, 16 would be 16 hours resting or not eating, and then 8 hours eating. So if you're wanting the best results, you probably want to shoot for like a 14-10 or a 16-8. That's going to be able to get you the best. But even a 12-12 is good for helping to sustain a normal amount of insulin in your system and less insulin resistance. There's also periodic fasting. This would be like if you take 2 days that you fast in a week, right? If you're like, oh, I'm gonna fast Monday, Tuesday, or whatever, right? Or I'm gonna fast a couple of days in a row. I'm not as big on this one, particularly if you fast more than 3 to 4 days, you're actually going to start breaking down muscle, and that is just not helpful for you. So I'm less inclined to encourage periodic fasting. There's also alternate day fasting, which would be you don't eat for the whole day and then you eat one day and then don't eat the whole day. Again, that would be for more extreme if you want to try and do weight loss. Um, I think in my opinion, it's more of a slow and steady, and it's more sustainable to do more of a time restricted eating where you do like a 14-10. So again, there are different types. My preference or suggestion to you would be like a 12-12, 14-10, or 16-8. All right. Now, here are a couple of do's, things that can help you while fasting. Um, so if you're going to do a 12-12, you would eat from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit why you'd want to cut off at 7 p.m. in further slides. But yeah, if you're doing a 12-12, make sure you're not eating super early, earlier than 7, and then make sure you cut off at 7 p.m. You want to keep your eating window to 1 hour. So if you're going to eat breakfast, I usually that's not hard for breakfast. Usually a lot of us are eating in 15 to 20 minutes, but sometimes our lunches, our dinners especially our dinners can prolong. And the dinner is the biggest issue why you wouldn't want to prolong your dinner meal because the longer that you prolong it, the closer you get to the time that you're going to go to sleep, and that's going to be creating issues later on for you. So very simple. You just keep it to an hour or less of eating. And obviously that wouldn't, it would be hard to do for like Thanksgiving and Christmas and things like that. People eat all day long, right? But yeah, we want to try and keep it in that small window. But that's why we're teaching this in February, not November, right?
Good point.
Here are don'ts, things that you want to try and avoid. So don't eat within 3 hours of going to bed. So that's why I recommend you cut it off at 7, okay? If you go to bed at 10 o'clock, right? The reason why is because you want to try and digest your food, and well, you want to actually use up the energy that food is going to create, right? So as you eat, usually about within an hour, your blood glucose is gonna spike up. It's gonna go up, right? And what we want to try and do is avoid that spike. So if you can be active, and also if you can eat a smaller meal in the evening rather than a larger meal. Ideally, if we want to go our largest meal at breakfast, our middle meal, our lunch should be our second largest meal, and then dinner should really be a smaller meal. And the reason why is because, again, you don't want to get a huge glucose spike, and you want to be able to burn that off while you're awake. So eating 3 hours before is ideal. Also, people also want to know, hey, can I snack throughout the day? What about snacking? If you snack, unfortunately, that's just going to elevate your insulin levels for an extended period of time. It's never going to come down. And I should say your glucose levels also, right? So if you can't, if you really just can't resist, then I would say try and add in nuts and seeds in between meals. Even nut butters, if you want to do like something like an almond butter, sunflower butter, something like that. That's going to be better for you. It's actually going to satiate you because it has a lot of fats. But if you can, I would recommend not eating snacks throughout the day, because you're not going to go into ketosis, which is the ultimate goal is for us to get to a place where we're no longer burning sugars or using sugars for most of our energy, but instead we're using ketones, which is breaking down fats, right? Um, I also would not recommend starting out fasting longer than 14 hours. That's so don't go to the 8 hour right off the bat. That might be a little bit hard for you. So I would recommend like a 14-10, right? 10-hour window eating. It's just because your body has a really hard time acclimating, getting in that quickly, and you're probably gonna give up because you're getting too hangry. So I'd recommend not doing more than 14 hours on your fast. Here are a couple of hints, things that you can do. Omegas, healthy fats. If you can, like the same reason why we'd want to eat nuts and seeds. If you use healthy fats, this will help satiate you, and it will help give you sustained energy, excuse me. So this is included in meats. This is included in, eggs. This is included in anything that has healthy fats, right? We're talking fish. We're talking. Crystal always gives us, yeah,
The bacon.
the bacon analogy, or not analogy, but acronym. And I always forget the C. So we're gonna.
Coconut.
So I always forget coconut, and I eat so much coconut, but I always forget the C. So can you do the acronym for
Yeah,
us?
so butter is B, A is avocado, C is coconut, and that's coconut oil, coconut shreds, coconut milk. Then O is olives, olive oil. N is nuts, nuts and seeds, nut butters.
There you go.
There you go.
So those are some helpful things that you would want to add. Not necessarily, again, we'd like to not have you do those as snacks if you can prevent it, but add those into your meals so that it can sustain your energy even longer. And then using something like this, E Omega Plus is an awesome supplement. This is one of the things it's actually in the little bundle that we were talking about at the top, something that you can add into your lifestyle every day. This is something that we use every day as a great foundation for ourselves. And healthy fats are going to help you not spike your blood glucose as much, and they're also going to help satiate you. So those are two really, really big reasons why you want to have healthy fats in your diet. Okay. Now, what if you get stuck in a situation where you are super hungry and you're getting those hunger pangs and you're just, I need something. So you can use this blend of oils, which is something that we use. It's called MetaPower Metabolic Blend, and this is just it comes in a bottle, but it also comes in these little beadlets. I don't know if any of you have seen these, but I'm sure some of you have. But it comes in a teeny little beadlet like that, and it's a really nice flavor. And it helps with satiation. It also helps. We'll be talking about this in future classes, actually coming up in May, but it also helps with releasing fat from your system, actually releasing it from your cells, which is really cool. So this is a really great option for you to use. You can use this in your water in the morning to jumpstart your metabolism. But you can also use it throughout the day to be able to help with any type of hunger issues you're having.
And cravings,
Yep.
especially.
Yep.
The grapefruit helps with sugar cravings in particular.
Yep. So those are awesome. That's an awesome option. Let me show you a little idea of how you could transition into a fasting like calendar. So what I would recommend is you don't go crazy all at once. So here's an example. So in month 1, you'd eat from 7 to 7 Monday through Friday, and then you'd eat normally on Saturday and Sunday, right? This is helping you kind of ease into. Month 2, 8 to 7 Monday through Friday, and then you eat normally on Saturday and Sunday. And then month 3, you're going 8 to 7 without the cheat days, I guess you would say. And then by month 4, you're at 9 to 7 from Monday through Sunday. So this is a great way to ease into. Some people can jump into it. Again, this isn't super aggressive, but this is something that helps you ease into, and it gives you a really sure way to cut off and stop. Okay, I'm not eating past 7 p.m. Okay. Okay, so here are some different possibilities. You might feel a little bit grumpy at the first of this. So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult. If anyone feels hangry, I know that sometimes when I do, I'll even do like an extended fast, like a 24-hour fast, like once a month. And sometimes I feel a little bit grumpy after that, or during that, excuse me. It can be tough, but usually, that's actually going to pass by the first month if it is even hard for you. Some people it's not hard for at all, and some people have it can be really challenging, right? But usually after the first month, it's not even you're not even going to notice it. Okay, so if you can just say, like, okay, I know this is going to last for 30 days. After that, it's going to be a lot easier. It's just the fact of the matter. Um, so your grumpiness is only going to last 2 to 4 weeks if you experience that. Okay. Weight loss. So fasting will help you lose weight oftentimes. It's just the very fact of the matter is you're going to optimize your use of sugar. And so it's not going to be stored where you don't want it stored. And also, you're going to start using ketones for your energy. And as a result, your body's going to start breaking down your fats that have been used as storage. So, what usually is going to happen is you're going to see uh, a pretty significant amount of weight lost. And then sometimes people plateau at 6 months. And then what you can do, say you're doing a 12-12. Then what you can do is you can cut back a couple more hours and see if 14-10 is a better way for you to be eating, and if it helps you decrease your weight even more. This is a really cool thing that a lot of people use to be able to lose weight. Again, if you hit plateaus, we have some great things that can help you get even more success. And we'll be talking about those again coming up in May. So that'll be a lot of fun that way. Okay. Now, there are people who should not fast. Children do not need to fast. Okay. Children I would say, unless they are sedentary, that would be the one question. But if your child is active and let's say they get out and play and just are normal kids outside running around, they don't need to fast, especially their metabolisms. They're converting a lot of their energy into growth, and so they actually need a high calorie diet, um, healthy calories, high healthy calorie diet. But you can keep them on a 12-12, meaning 7 a.m. 7 p.m. That's totally fine. But children do not need to do longer than that, assuming that they are healthy and normally active. Okay. Also, pregnant and nursing mothers do not need to fast, shouldn't fast. Babies need glucose, and ketones have been shown to be not helpful and even detrimental to the baby and the mom. So I would recommend not or doing intermittent fasting while you're in this phase of life. When you're out of that phase, perfectly healthy, normal, and great. Especially if I know a lot of women struggle with bringing baby weight off that they'd like to take off. Intermittent fasting can be a great solution to be able to help with that. And then obviously we do not want to encourage people with eating disorders to do intermittent fasting because they will go extreme, and you don't want to do that. So they can be in a 12-12. That's very normal, right? But we don't want to encourage anything more than that because they tend to overdo it and be more extreme. Okay. Here are people who are, so those are people who should not, these are people who generally shouldn't. So people over the age of 70, at this time of life, your body is actually starting to uh, it's starting to use its reserves, and you'll start to lose weight. And so I wouldn't recommend intermittent fasting for this age group. Again, 12-12 is fine. Um, but I wouldn't recommend doing more like 14-10 or more, right? Also, people who have chronic diseases, you will need the energy. So I would not recommend doing more than a 12-12. Okay. So here's what is typical for weight loss. Usually, you're going to, before your body starts kicking in and understanding what your pattern is and that you're trying to get to a ketosis, into ketosis, right? Um, it's going to take a couple weeks for you to do that. So usually 4 weeks. And then you'll be losing 1 to 2 pounds a week. That's healthy weight loss. So people sometimes will get discouraged, like, oh, I've only lost 4 pounds. And you're like, well, how long have you been doing it? Oh, I've been doing it for, 3 weeks. And you're like, that's actually not bad. That's healthy weight loss. 1 to 2 pounds, that's healthy weight loss. And continue with that over a year. Think about that. If you're losing 1 to 2 pounds a week for a year, you're losing 100 pounds, right? But you have to stick with it. That's the whole thing. Just sticking with it. You can lose 100 pounds being on intermittent fasting. And then again, if you hit plateaus like some people do, you can change it up. You can add supplements. You can very much have great success by changing your process. Okay. So this is what a typical day of fasting might look like. Um, so this would be closer to a 14-10, right? So you start with buckwheat, coconut oil, coconut shreds, sunflower seeds, an egg with shredded cheese. That is a great large breakfast. We add some berries in there. And that is a really a filling breakfast. You've got your coconut in there. You've got your coconut oil, right? You've got seeds. So there's three or
Bacon.
actually two of the bacons, right? You've got your eggs. You've got your cheeses. So these are great sources of fats obviously we're very fat heavy in that breakfast mode, which is great. And then you've got some berries. You've got your omega supplement, and then you can use MetaPower in a glass of water. Again, that's going to help satiate after you eat. That's going to help satiate you throughout the day. Go
And
ahead.
that buckwheat, that's just another alternative for oatmeal if you don't digest oatmeal very well.
Yeah,
So that's just, yeah, one
good
little
hint.
side note there.
Nice. Yeah. And the nice thing about buckwheat, it's a really good source of protein as far as pseudo grains go. Buckwheat's not actually wheat. It's a pseudo grain, and it's as far as pseudo grain goes, quinoa's higher, but buckwheat's close behind it. So that's a nice one for breakfast if you're going to do something like that. For lunch, an example would be quinoa with salad base, veggies, chicken, avocado. There's another one of our fats, right? That avocado. And then apple slices with sunflower butter. That would be something that, again, there's your seeds, right, that we're getting in there. That's your fats. Veggies and hummus. Okay. So again, when I get the most hungry, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when I get a little grumpy and hangry. I will use MetaPower oil. I'll use these little beadlets. They're great for that, being able to help myself with satiation. And I also like to use a collagen supplement called MetaPower Advantage. And that is something that it has a supplement called NMN, excuse me, nicotinamide mononucleotide. That helps with my energy also, which I really like. But we're going to talk about that again in May. That's a really cool supplement, but we'll talk about that more. The last would be for dinner. Obviously, you can see my dinner is smaller chicken veggie stir fry with avocado, salad with balsamic dressing, and some fruit for dessert. So that's kind of what a typical day of fasting could look like, ending at 6:30, so we're not going too late. So now that we've talked about fasting, we are really excited. Excited to share this with you guys. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller so you can see this. Oops, hang on. Yeah, zoom. Move that out of the way. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So now that we've gone on our nutrition and digestion steps and we're moving forward, we're going to talk next month about movement and metabolism. And so, what we're going to be doing in March, we're going to have a little movement challenge. So, we're calling it Movement March. And Movement March is going to it's going to be really fun. We actually will have a daily exercise challenge that you're going to take. We're also going to have online classes. We're going to have Zumba. We're going to have yoga. We're going to have band. We're going to have weight class. So we're going to have a lot of different options for you. And this is going to be we're going to do it on every Thursday in starting the 13th. Yep. So it starts March 13th, and we're going to do it for a month. So we're going to do it for 5 Thursdays straight.
And those will be just the virtual ones.
Right.
We'll also have different meetup groups throughout the different areas. So, at least here in Florida, we'll have a few different locations where we'll have walking groups and potentially other dance type of groups, maybe Zumba, down south at least, I know. But then up here, I know we've got a couple gals who also love teaching dance classes too. So we'll have a calendar. We're going to have this on the Simple Healers website, and we'll definitely have more information coming up, and we'll have that in the cleanse group. Just in the meantime, while the shout, that's the text service that we use while that's getting up and running again. So that way we can keep you guys in the loop there.
And there will be cash prizes and supplement prizes. So it'll be really, really fun. We're gonna do a combo. It'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be really fun.
And the way that you earn the prizes is one, showing up for yourself, exercising, and just, each day. And the other is inviting someone else to get together with you.
And exercise
So
with you.
we tend to actually show up more when we have someone else holding us accountable. So that's one of the things. It's also a lot more fun. So I mean, if you're like, okay, we're just gonna have this big walking group, and you have like 10 people show up, who knows? Maybe you're winning with that. So yeah,
So it's gonna be really, really fun.
excited about
It's
this.
gonna be great in
Yes.
March.
Yes.
So I'm gonna pause this now. Hang on. Pause. There it is.